Hi, I'm Maxine Kwok from the London Symphony Orchestra, and I'm here today to talk to you a bit about auditions. Now, that usually scares people half to death, so hopefully a few tips I can give you will give you an insight into what the panel will expect and the best way that you can prepare. Okay, the first thing you're going to know is you have to prepare a Mozart concerto and a contrasting romantic concerto. Now, the former, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's not much to choose from, so get prepared a first movement of a Mozart concerto with the cadenza. And it doesn't matter if the cadenza is the traditional one, or you want to write something yourself, or you play something which you don't think anyone will know. It doesn't matter, just as long as it's something that you believe in and you think is going to be really, really good in your audition. So, on to the romantic concerto. Now, this is where people sometimes get a bit confused. We often have, I'd say, the Brahms, the Sibelius, and the Tchaikovsky, which are fantastic audition pieces. Of course, there are loads and loads of concertos to choose from. So please bear in mind, think of something which will show you off to your best ability, something that you are only going to play a portion of it. So make sure that the opening few pages really have some kind of dramatic content, some technical virtuosity. You know, the Shostakovich First Concerto is a fantastic piece, but offering the first movement in an audition only shows a tiny proportion of what you can do as a violinist. So it's not the wisest choice in the world. Also, choosing something which you think the panel won't know is probably not a great idea either, because we'll probably spend the whole time sort of trying to understand the concerto rather than actually listening to what you can do. So any of the big name concertos, and even things like Prokofiev, Bartok, anything like that, Barber, Glazunov, we very rarely hear those concertos. They're all absolutely fine. So remember, of course, you will only get to play a portion of it, so don't get offended when someone raises a hand and says, thank you very much. We're working to a time limit, so it's got nothing to do with your playing, it's just because we actually have to move on. Another thing about your concertos, you don't have to play from memory. Don't worry about that. If you want to play from memory, that's absolutely fine. It's not going to gain you marks or anything. If you think you can perform better knowing that you have the security of your part there, because there will be a stand, just go for it. It's not a problem at all. And then on to your excerpts. These are going to differ from orchestra to orchestra, so I can only give you some tips on what we would expect in the LSO from our excerpts. Firstly, if you don't get sent them, you maybe get sent them on an email, make sure you print them out really clearly. This is really important because there's no point after a few weeks and they've faded and you can't really see what it says. Just print it out really good on quality paper, maybe even make yourself a little booklet of them. That's what I did anyway, so that you don't run into your audition and realise you've left one of them back in your violin case. So get yourself sort of mentally prepared for that. Okay, next thing, most important, please, please, please listen to the excerpts. And you've got no excuse, because when I did auditions, you had to go out and buy the CDs or go to a library. Now you've got YouTube and all these free things on the internet where you can just listen without paying anything. So please listen to the excerpts, because the amount of times we've had people come in and play them at absolutely completely random tempi, it already doesn't matter how well you play them, it shows that you haven't really put the effort into finding out what it's really like to be playing in an orchestra. So have a listen. If you can, it's probably even sensible to look up the orchestra you're auditioning for, listen to a couple of recordings if you can, and get an idea, just in case you've picked a really strange recording where it's super fast or something. So listen to as many as you can so you get an idea, and then get your metronome out and practice the excerpts, you can just start off really bland. It doesn't have to be, you know, that you're playing it in a concert. Just really get to grips with it rhythmically, because remember, we're listening for people who can play not only really, really well, but within a section. So that's really important. So, okay, you've printed out your excerpts. They'll probably be from a part that's been used. So it's going to have bowings and fingerings in. Ignore all the fingerings, do what you like. With the bowings, I'd say you pretty much use whatever's there, because that's probably going to have been put in by the leader or something at some point, and it's most likely the best thing going, and I think it's better than you trying to work out something to do. So if you can, try and stick to it. Obviously make a few alterations if you need. That's not a problem. We won't be looking out for any changes like that. Okay, now when you're practicing your auditions, one thing I found that I'm going to share with you is, because I taped all my excerpts together in a booklet, I found that I was actually practicing them exactly in that order. Don't let yourself get lulled into that, because the moment you walk into your audition and they ask for an excerpt which isn't in the order that you're expecting, it can really throw you. So just mix it up. Don't always play your Don Juan first or your Brahms. Just practice them in random order so that you can be ready for whatever happens in the audition. Another thing is, try and play for your friends, because doing an audition is really not like performing in a concert. You don't have that same atmosphere. You will be full of adrenaline, hopefully, but it's not like going out into a concert hall, going onto a stage, being applauded. So try and get a group of friends, and it's good if you feel nervous about it, even better, because it will give you an idea of how you're going to feel. Get them to stop you in the middle of your performance and move on to the next piece. Get them to shout out excerpts for you. It will really, really help in the long run, because unfortunately, and as we all know, auditions are not the most pleasant experience you're going to have. The day of the audition, I don't personally mind what people wear. Don't feel you have to go out, buy some special new outfit, get dressed up. It's fine, whatever you feel comfortable performing in. But remember, of course, you're presenting yourself in a way, so you have to feel that you have presented yourself in the best manner possible. So, you know, the idea of sort of cut off ripped jeans and a t-shirt that doesn't quite reach the waistband is probably not the impression you want to give when you walk into the audition. So, you know, if you want to wear jeans, that's fine. Just maybe pair it with something fairly smart on the top. It's fine. You know, if you're a student, I really, really don't expect, you know, you to come in to college that day and have a second outfit ready for the audition. It's fine. Another important thing about your audition is take your time. Come in and tune up and just, you know, take a minute, just relax. We want you to play well. Tune between the pieces if you need to, that's important, and definitely before your excerpts. Really listen to the piano. Don't feel that we're going to rush you or something. It's really just your time to show us what you can do, and we're wishing that you will play your best and do really well. So good luck, and hopefully see you there.